Welcome to Problem Solving and Programming using C class. And myself, I'm Shravani, Assistant Professor from the Department of CSC. Today I'm here to teach you the control structures part 2. And in our last class, we have seen the control structures part 1. In that, we had seen the selection statements, right? And in today, I'm going to cover repetition statements or loops. So, in today, basically the control structures are classified into 3 categories: selection, repetition, and unconditional. So, under selection, we had already seen as part 1, and under part 2, I'm showing you the repetition statements. And after that, we'll have unconditional statements under part 3, right? So now classification of control structures, once again we'll see that. Just we'll recollect or recap it. So basically the control structures are divided into 2 categories: conditional and unconditional. Under unconditional we have 2 categories: selection statements or decision making statements, and under conditional we have another category called iterative statements or repetitive statements or loops. So under selection or branching statements we have these categories: if else, nested if, and multi-way nested if else. And under multi-way branching we have one more thing called else if later, and even the switch case. Now coming to the iteration or repetition statements, when I want to repeat some set of statements, so in that case I'm going with iteration statements. So there I'm having 3 types: for, while, and do while. And for unconditional we have break, continue, and return and go to statements. Now let's look on loops or repetitive statements or iterative statements. Okay, now basically, as I said earlier, to repeat some set of statements, so I'm using this particular concept called loops. For example, you want to read 100 student marks, 100, you want to read the 100 students marks at a time. So for that, what you are supposed to do, you need to write a message where, if you don't have a knowledge on this particular topic, you have to write 2 statements for 100 times. Am I right or not? Printf, enter the marks of student 1, scanf, read marks, and again printf, enter the marks for student 2, enter the marks for student 3, enter the marks for student 4, likewise enter the marks for student 100. So likewise you are writing 200 times, you are writing 200 statements, in the sense 2 statements, one for writing the message and another for reading the corresponding marks. So here printf and scanf statements together you are writing for 100 times for 100 students. So this is quite complicated. Am I right or not? This is very quite complicated, and even the length, even the LOC is also very big. Nothing but length of code is also big, right? So whenever be a programmer, you always should write a program such that it should require less time, less memory, and even it should always take a less memory space and even less time. Within less time it has to be executed, and also your LOC also should be very less, right? If it is very big, for example, if your code is having 1000 and 2000 lines, the one who is new to that particular programming, right, they'll not see your program. Am I right or not? So your program should be very short, such that it should be understandable by every person. So likewise you need to write, right? So now for that particular purpose, these repetitive statements are very useful. So to repeat a set of statements number of times is known as looping. Okay, to repeat some set of statements a number of times is known as looping in computer program. So if you want to repeat some set of statements, so in that case I'm using this particular loops concept. Now a loop is a group of instructions that a computer executes repeatedly while some loop continuation conditions remains true. So here the loop will be executed, or the loop will be repeatedly repeats the set of statements until the particular condition which I had given you is false, right? If the condition is true, then it will repeat. If the condition is true, then it will repeat. If the condition evaluates to false, then it will not repeat. That is what the sense, right? Now counter controlled loops are sometimes called definite loops, because we know in advance exactly how many number of times a particular loop is being repeated. For example, since I have taken an example of your 100 students, right? So here that loop should be executed for 100 times. So exactly I know how many number of times that particular loop has to be executed, that is 100 times, right? So those particular loops we are calling it as counter controlled loops, and the other one is sentinel controlled loops, are sometimes called as indefinite loops, which are event control loop, because it is known in the advance how many times the loop has to be executed, right? So those are all called as sentinel controlled loops. Now let's have, basically a loop should have these four types of requirements, which is repetition statement, that is with what repetitive statement I want to implement the corresponding loop, either by using for or by using while or by using do while. That is your first step, that is your first requirement. And the other one is condition to be evaluated, which condition I need to check. That is, for example, here let us consider your students example itself. So 100 students means here from first student to the 100th student I have to execute, right? So let us consider I is the student variable, right? So I less than here I less than or equal to 100 is my condition. Okay, so that is if this condition is evaluates to true, then only I am entering the message called enter the student marks and reading the corresponding marks, right? Now initial value for the condition, what is the initial value for this I? From first student to the nth student, that is 100th student, right? So here I is equal to 1, which is the initialization or initial value for the condition. Now loop termination, for looping term, the loop should be terminated whenever this condition is evaluates to false, right? Whenever this condition is evaluates to false, then this loop will be terminated. So basically, in order to write a loop, these are the four requirements. What type of loop you are using, either while or for or do while, and also condition to be evaluated, which condition I have to check, and also with what value you are initializing, and also loop termination. Okay, and also there is one more thing, updation, how to update, that is after the first student to be entered, and what is the next student? Second student. So in order to enter the second student, I need to increment the I value, right, by using an operator, right, or else by using a post increment operator, or else I use a statement called I is equal to I plus 1. So likewise, even the updation statement is also existed as part of your loops. Now coming to the advantages of writing loops, what are the advantages, basic advantages of loops? This will reduce as the length of code, as I said earlier, LOC will be reduced, length of code, and takes less memory space, am I right or not? The same variable I am using more and more times, right? Because if you are writing the printf and scanf statements for 100 times, here you are using 100 variables, right? For reading the 100 student marks, you are utilizing 100 variables. Instead of that, if you are writing these two statements within a single loop, then you're using only a single variable for storing, and immediately whenever the data is being updated, so within the same memory only I'm going to update the data, so which means that I'm using less memory. Now burden on the developer is reducing, am I right or not? As a developer, my burden will be reduced, and the time consuming process will also be reduced. Now coming to the first loop, let us move on to the loops. As I said, there are three types of loops: while loop, do while loop, and for loop, right? Now let's move on to the while loop. Basically, this while loop is a pre-tested loop or pre-condition checking loop, right? So while loop is a pre-test or entry controlled loop. While loop is a pre-test or entry controlled loop. That is, here before going into the while loop, I am checking with one condition. If that condition is evaluates to true, then only I will enter. So nothing but if at all, if you bring the record, then only I am allowing into the lab, otherwise I will not allow, right? That is, I am checking in the gate itself, as I am checking at the door itself, the entry door of your lab itself. I am checking whether you brought your record or not. If you are bringing the record, then only you are allowing into the lab, otherwise you will not be allowed, which is nothing but I am pre-testing I am pre-controlling, right? Which is nothing but your entry controlled loop. I am entry restricted. Here I am restricting you at the entry point itself, right? If you are bringing the record, you are allowing. Nothing but if your condition is evaluates to true, then only I am entering into the while loop, right? Now it uses a test expression to control the loop. Now the while loop evaluates the test expression, nothing but your condition, before entry of iteration of loop. Nothing but if the condition is evaluates to true, then only the loop will be executed. Now the body of the loop will be executed repeatedly till the value of test expression becomes false, right? It will becomes false. If the condition evaluates to false, then only it will come out of the while loop. Now the initialization of a loop control variable generally done before the beginning of while loop. Before beginning of the loop itself, I need to do the initialization of the loop variable. Now true is a non-zero value and false is a zero value, or else 1 and 0 we had already seen about your loop conditions, right? If your loop condition is evaluates to 1 means, if your loop condition is evaluates to 1 means it is true. If loop condition is evaluates to false 0 means it is false. In the same manner here also, right? Now let's have the syntax of your while loop, right? This is the syntax: initialization and then while and test expression. If this test expression is evaluates to true, then the body of the loop will be executed, and after that updation, and after that the corresponding statement. So here if this test expression is evaluates to true, this will be executed, and after that again it will checks for the condition, again this will be executed, again it will checks for the condition, again if this is evaluates to true, again this will be executed, again it will goes for the test condition. If this is evaluates to false, then immediately the control comes to the here, that is statement X will be executed, right? Likewise the while loop will be worked. And here we will show the same thing with the help of a flowchart also. This is a flowchart for your while loop, that is update conditional expression, right? So here if the condition is evaluates to true, if the condition is true, then the body of the loop will be executed. If the condition is evaluates to false, then the statement X will be executed. Now body, after executing of body loop, again it will checks for the condition, that is again it will update the expression. Nothing but loop variable has to be updated. Now after updating it, again it will checks for the condition. Again if it is true, the body of the loop will be executed. Again update expression, again condition. And here before I'll be having initialization of loop variable, right? Initialization will be done, and after that I'm going to check for the condition. So this is how the while loop will be executed. Now let's have the example program on while loop. And program on while loop. So here write a C program to print natural numbers up to the given number. I want to print the natural numbers up to the given number. Now let's see how to write the C program on this by using while loop. So here basically hash include stdio.h, right? And then I'll be writing int main. So here I want to print the natural numbers, right? So your natural numbers will begin from 1, right, and up to the given number n. So for example, if the user had given 8, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, up to 8 it has to display, right? So for that here I'm writing int n. N is for reading the data from the input, so reading the data from the user, right? Now, and also one more variable I required, loop variable, which is I as a loop variable or iterative variable, whatever you can feel, you can do that. Okay, you can give a loop variable name. Now here your I should begin with 1. Why? Because your natural numbers are starting from 1, right? So I'm initializing your I value with 1, and after that here printf enter a value. So here I am giving a message called printf enter a value. Now I am reading a value called n from the user, percentile d, address of n. Now I have read the value for n. So now what is the next statement? Here I is already initialized, right? So now what is the next statement? I need to check with the condition, that is while, here I'll write while I less than or equal to n. I less than or equal to n, what I'm supposed to do? Printf percentile d slash t. Slash t is used for giving a tab space. After printing this value, it will give us a tab space, comma I. And then I plus plus for incrementing the I value. Okay, and closing of your while loop, and then return 0. Now let's see the execution part now. So now let us consider here n value I had given as 6. N value I had given as 6, right? So now enter a value, and then I have read the value, which is 6. Now what is the I value here? I is equal to 1. So here I am coming, and here while 1 less than or equal to 6, condition evaluates to true. So now what happened? Printf percentile d slash t I. So here I am writing my output. Now what happened? Percentile d slash t. So which means that here I value. What is I value? 1. 1 will be displayed along with the tab space will be given to you. Now I plus plus. Now what is I value? Here previously it is 1. Now this has been changed to 2. Right? Now I value is 2. Now again I am checking with condition. 2 less than or equal to 6, condition evaluates to true. So now again I am printing the message. What is the message? I value and displaying. What is the value? 2. And again I have a tab space. And again I am moving here. Right? I plus plus. Now what is the I value here? 3. Now after I plus plus, again I am moving here. Now 3 less than or equal to 6. Now again condition satisfied. Now again 3 will be displayed. Again I'll have a tab space. Now again I plus plus. Now again the I value will be updated. Now I will be updated to 4. Now again here 4 is less than or equal to 6. Condition true. Now again 4 will be displayed, and again a tab space. And here again 5. I is equal to 5. Now again 5 less than or equal to 6. Condition satisfied. Again 5 will be displayed, and again a tab space. Again a 6 will be displayed whenever I have 6 less than or equal to 6 condition. Right? Now after that, here after I has been displayed to 6, now here I will be incremented to 7. Now since I is equal to 7, I am checking with condition called 7 less than or equal to 6. Since this condition is false, since this condition is evaluates to false, 7 less than or equal to 6 is evaluates to false, the control comes over here, which is written 0. So simply I am closing the program. So here what is our output? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up to the given number 6, I have displayed all the natural numbers. So this is how we have to write our programs by using while loop. Right? Now let's have in detail the program. This is your program. Int n, I is equal to 1. So here I am reading the corresponding n value, and then while I less than or equal to n, here I am displaying the corresponding I value, and I am updating the I value. So here is your, and this is your expression, right? And this is your body of the loop, right? And this is your updation statement, and this is your initialization statement. Right? For your understanding purpose, I am giving you all. Right? Now this is a sample output. For example, if I have entered 5, I will be getting the output like this. Now let's have another one, which is do while loop. Right? So coming to do while loop is a post tested loop. Here while loop is a pre-tested or entry control loop, whereas do while is a exit control loop. So why? Because here the body of the loop statements will be executed once, and after that it is going to check for your condition. For example, let's go with your lab session only. So I am allowing everyone inside the lab, and I am making you to sit and sit right in the lab. And after that, okay, and after sitting, okay, after that I am asking you for your records, right? Whether you bought or not. If you are not bringing your records, simply get out, right? So here exit control loop, which is nothing but here I am allowing you for the first time, right? I am allowing you, and after that I am checking for the corresponding thing whether you have you brought your record or not, right? So likewise I am checking after that, right? I am checking the condition after the execution of loop once. Okay, after the execution of once, body of the loop will be executed for at least once in your do while loop, right? Now this is the syntax for your do while loop. Do, body of the loop, and while, the corresponding expression, and please remember here is a semicolon for your do while loop. Now here the body of the loop will be executed, and after that I am checking with this condition. If this condition is evaluates to true, then again it will enters into the body of the loop. Now again it will checks for the condition, and again if it is true then it will enters into the body of the loop. If this condition is evaluates to false, then the control comes over here. Likewise the do while loop will be working. Now let's have the flowchart for this do while loop, right? So here is the initialization statement and then body of the loop, and then I'm checking with the condition. So whereas in your while loop you will be checking the condition firstly, right? Whereas here body of the loop will be executed once, and then I'm checking with the condition, and then if this condition is true, then again the body of the loop will be executed. If this condition is false, then the statement text will be executed. So likewise here please remember, in your do while loop at least once the body of the loop will be executed. Now this is a program, a sample program on do while, which is write a C program to print the natural numbers up to the given number n. The same program which we have seen earlier, but here by using do while loop. So here do printf I plus plus, and then I'm checking with the condition. So here I'll be getting 1, and after that I will be incremented, and after that I'm checking with the condition, right? So likewise I'll be having the do while program, right? So do, and then the corresponding statements within the loop, and then while I'm having the condition, and again I'm checking with this condition since the condition is evaluates to true. For example, let us consider I have given n is equal to 3, right? N is equal to 3 and I is equal to 1, right? So printf percentage d I. So I value I had displayed. Now I plus plus. Now I is equal to, instead of 1 I'll be having 2, right? Now again here I'm checking with the condition. 2 is less than or equal to. Here I'm writing the conditions. 2 is less than or equal to 3. Condition is satisfied. So now what I'm supposed to do? Printf percentage d, right? So now thus I value will be displayed. Now what is I value? I will be updated with I plus plus. Now what is I value? 3. Now again I am checking with the condition, which is 3 less than or equal to 3. Condition again satisfied. So now again I am displaying the statement called printf I. So this 3 will be displayed. Now again I plus plus. I value is now 4. Now I am checking with condition called 4 less than or equal to 3. Condition failed. Since the condition is failing, I am coming out of the loop, which is returned 0. So now here I have displayed up to the given number called 3. I have displayed the natural numbers up to the given number called 3. So this is how we have to write our programs by using do while loop. Now this is a sample output. Now while versus do while, which is nothing but the basic difference between while and do while. In your examinations, basically in your examinations, since you are first year students, you will be getting this question. Right? This is a very important question. Differentiate between while and do while, or differentiate pre-tested loop and post-tested loop, or differentiate entry control loop and exit control loop. For all the questions, the same answer, which is difference between while and do while. Right? So condition is checked before entering into the loop. Okay, here in your while loop, the condition is checked before entering into the loop. Nothing but the record is checked before entering into the lab. Now here the condition is checked after executing the statements into the loop. Here at least once the statement will be executed. So minimum iterations are 0 in your while loop, whereas minimum iterations are 1. Why? Because at least once we are executing the body of the loop in your do while loop. Now maximum iterations are n plus 1. Here the maximum iterations are n. Maximum iterations are n. Now general loop statement and general loop statement, but well suited for menu driven applications. When you want to write a menu driven applications, for example, if you want to write a menu driven for your, okay, for example, let us think that you have a restaurant. So here you'll be given like tiffin, breakfast or lunch. Likewise, for example, starters, okay, and then rice menu. Likewise, if you want to display the menu, so here specifically you should give all the whatever you are having, all the recipes you are supposed to give to the corresponding user, right? So you need to display all these things. So if you are using a do while loop in that particular place, then this is very useful. That's why it is very suitable for menu driven applications. And non-deterministic loop, and even this is also a non-deterministic loop. Why? Because for example, if the condition is if the condition I had given such that the condition is always evaluates to true, so it will not be ended, the loop will not be ended, and it will be going into an indefinite state, right? For example, likewise I have given while 1, okay, printf cp. What happened? cp, likewise it is going to display for indefinite times, and this will not be ended because here I have only 1, right? 1 means always true, right? So that is why these both are non-deterministic loops, right? Now let's move to the next loop, which is for loop, right? Let's have the next type of loop, which is for loop. So here in this for loop, exactly how many number of iterations I made I could know initially, right? So here it is a most general loop construct in C. The for loop is commonly used when the number of iterations are exactly known. So how many number of exactly known, right? Number of iterations are exactly known, which means that how many number of times I have to repeat all these set of statements I must be known earlier. Then only this for loop has to be as of incorporated into your program. Now this is a basic syntax for your for loop. First here it have, okay, basically the for loop will have 3 parts, and basically it have 3 statements: initial expression, test expression, and an update expression. Initial expression is used for initialization of loop variable, and text expression is nothing but condition, and update expression is for updation, either increment or decrement, either to increment or decrement the loop variable, and body of the loop. So here initially this will be executed first, initialization expression, and then I'm checking with the condition. If this condition is evaluates to true, then this body of the loop will be executed. Now after the execution of this body of the loop, then the control will comes to update expression. Now after that again I'm checking with this condition. Now if this condition is evaluates to true, then the body of the loop will be executed. Then again it will comes to the update expression, right? Again it will comes to the update expression, and again it will comes to the test expression. If this expression is evaluates to false, let us consider in this case it is evaluates to false, then the control comes to the out of the for loop. So this is how the for loop will be worked, right? Now this is a basic flowchart for your for loop. First of all, initialization statement, then the test expression. If this is evaluates to true, then the body of the loop, and then increment or decrement or update expression. Okay, after incrementation again it will checks with the condition. If this condition is evaluates to true, then again body of the loop, and again update expression, again it will execute. Now if this is evaluating to false, then simply it will come out of the for loop, right? This is how the for loop will be executed. Now let's have a sample program on for loop. So before going to the sample program, these are the constraints, loop constraints in your for loop. First one is initialization. Basically initialization is used for initializing your loop variable with some value. In order to end, before entering into the loop, I have to initialize a value. That is, for example, from the first student to the 100th student, I want to enter the details. So I starts from 1. Right? Now condition is nothing but by which condition or by which expression I have to check. So if the condition is evaluates to true, then only I am entering into the loop, otherwise I will not enter into the loop. Now increment or decrement, so I have to increment or decrement, okay, basing on the given constraint. So this is also known as update expression. So nothing but, for example, if I want to move 2 steps forward, then I will be I plus 2. If I want to move 2 steps backward, I will be I minus 2. So likewise I have to give it in the update expression. And this is a program on for loop. Here I am writing the program for factorial of a given number. What is meant by factorial? For example, 4 factorial. 4 factorial can be found by means of 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. right? 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So that I am going to showcase in the reverse direction. Even this is also 1 into 2 into 3 into 4, right? So this is also equivalent to 1 into 2 into 3 into 4, right? So here I am entering a number, so here I am reading a number, so n value is equal to 4, let us consider, and for I is equal to 1, initially this will be executed, so I value will be equal to 1 and I less than or equal to n. Here I am writing the conditions, which is 1 less than or equal to, what is the n value? 4, 1 less than or equal to 4, condition evaluates to true. So now what is a fact value? Fact is equal to fact into I. So here already I have a fact value which is initialized with 1, right? So fact is equal to fact into I. So fact into I, which is 1 into 1, which is equal to 1, and that 1 will be initialized to fact. So 1 again it will be initialized to fact, right? Now again the control comes over here, I plus plus. Now what is I value? 2. What is I value? 2. Now again 2 less than or equal to 4. Condition satisfied. Now again fact into I. What is the fact value? 1 into I. I value is 2. So 1 into 2. What is the value? 2. That 2 has to be assigned to fact. So now fact consisting of 2. Now again control comes over here, I plus plus. Now it is equal to 3. Now 3 less than or equal to 4. Condition satisfied. Now again fact is equal to fact into I. Now again 2 into 3. What is the value? 6. Okay, now again I plus plus. Now what is I value? 4. So now 4 less than or equal to 4. Again condition satisfied. Again condition satisfied. 4 less than 4. Condition again satisfied. Now fact is equal to fact into I. So what is the fact value? 6. I value is 4. 6 into 4 how much? 6 4s are 24. 24. Now this fact value is 24. So now that 24 is assigned to fact. Now again I plus plus. Now what is I value? 5. Now again I am checking with the condition. 5 less than or equal to 4. Condition failed. So simply it will come out of the loop. So what is the factorial of percentile D? So which is factorial of percentile D. First percentile D is meant for n. So factorial of 4 is, and then percentile D. Percentile D is for fact. What is the fact consisting of? 24. So now what is the value? Fact of 4 is 24. So here also 2 3s are 6, 6 4s are 24, right? So same value I got it, right? So this is how I need to find out the factorial by using for loop. So here initially initialization statement will be executed for one time, and then I'll be checking with the condition. Since the condition is evaluated to true, the body of the loop will be executed, and then update expression I plus plus, and then again I'm checking with the condition, and again body of the loop. Likewise, if the condition is evaluates to false, then I am coming out of the loop and I am displaying the factorial value, right? This is a sample output. For suppose n is equal to 5 means 120 is displayed. Now there will be nested loops also. Loop within the loop is called as nested loop. So here is the syntax for that. For same initialization, test expression, updation, this is the outer for loop and this is the inner for loop. Outer and inner for loop. So if this, first of all, this will be executed and then test expression will be executed. If this is evaluates to true, simply it will enters into this. Again this will be executed and then test expression will be evaluated. If this is evaluates to true, then this body of the loop will be executed and then updation expression will be executed for inner for loop. Likewise, for example, again updation and again I am checking with test expression, right? Even this is also evaluates to true. So body of the loop will be executed. Body of the inner for loop. Again updation. This is 9, right? Now I am checking with condition. So for suppose here the condition is evaluates to false. Let us consider. False means the control will comes over here. Updation, since there are no statements after this, right? So now 11th time, right? Now it will be updated. Now again I'm checking with the outer for loop condition. So here I am checking with condition. Now again if this condition is evaluates to true, again in the same manner the inner for loop will be executed. If the condition is false, then the control will comes over here. So likewise the nested for loops will be working, right? Now coming to the summary. So today we have seen some set of repetitive statements or iterative statements or loops. Actually C programming allows you to write 3 types of loops, which are for loop, while loop and do while loop. And also we have seen the basic difference between while and do while also, and also we have seen the programs, certain programs on all the three loops, and also we had seen the syntaxes and flowcharts, right? And this is the assignment, my dear students. Write a C program to check whether the given number is prime or not, and to check whether the given number is palindrome or not. Palindrome means here let us consider 323 is a palindrome number. Why? Because here if you reverse the given number, you are getting the same number. If you are reversing it, also you are getting the same number. So this is a palindrome number. So likewise, you need to check whether the given number is palindrome or not. And to check whether the given number is Armstrong number or not. Armstrong number means sum of the cubes of the individual digits in the given number is equal to the given number. Then I can say that the given number is an Armstrong number. For example, let us take 125. So 1 cube plus 2 cube plus 5 cube. If it is yielding you 125, then I can say that this 125 is an Armstrong number. Otherwise, it is not an Armstrong number. So you need to find out the individual digits of the given number, and you have to make the cubes of each and individual digits, and you need to find out the sum. If that sum is equal to the given number, then I can say that this is an Armstrong number. Otherwise, it is not an Armstrong number. Right? Try to implement this 3 programs by using loops. Thank you. Thanks for listening to me, and let's have the next session on unconditional statements or unconditional control structures.